Mood.tv.
You're probably not gonna get the joke. Probably a type, that's all whatever's cool with me. Rabbit falls away from me, guess I'm not shut up. I've got the guts now, whatever won't shut up. I'm living all over you, all up in your ears, and saying there's not a hitch. Does fly together. I want something snappy. That's the only adventure you have left.
And we are live.
Hello.
Oh, hello and welcome.
Hey.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
We're here. Episode number 14 of Kyle Mocha
Yep.
Won't Shut Up. Joining me, as always, is Mr. Justin Olimpedo
Hello.
and Mr. Zachary. My beer's already open. Stormin'.
I needed a bottle opener
You
on
needed
this
a bottle
one.
opener on that one.
It was fancier
Oh,
than
Zach literally just made it. Now, you take every nap you can get. That's
Like,
life you gotta
yeah.
do.
If it's I saw 20 minutes, I said, "Well, I'm gonna take a 20-minute nap."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know me. I take naps whenever I can take them. In the middle
Yeah.
of
Oh, yeah,
concerts,
dude.
in the middle of.
It could be the loudest fucking
movies.
movie, and
Yeah.
you look over and Kyle's asleep
I'm just
on the
done.
couch.
You know
but
why?
if you call your name,
Yeah.
you're 99.9%
answer.
chance you're gonna wake up, look around, shake your head, and go
then
right
go
back.
right back.
I
to
wait till
sleep.
you fall asleep and I scream at you
Yeah.
from across the room.
Yeah.
Kyle! And you like wake up. You look at me. You usually fall asleep with the beer can in your hand. You
Yeah.
take a sip of the beer while you're looking at me. Put the beer can down and you're out again.
I remember the one time you told me that I woke up and just looked at you, smiled, and then went right back to bed. And I was like, I
Yeah.
must have been having a good dream that night. Must have been good. Well, the theme song this week was a special attempt at a theme song.
Yeah.
And if you're here in the live chat, which we are live every Tuesday at 9 o'clock,
Yes, we are.
and when you are live with us, you can chat in the chat room, and then we get to interact with you. That was a special theme song for a special little guy on a special little day.
Hey, man. Happy birthday, dude.
Mr. Colorado Jones, my good brother.
Colorado Jones, I forgot it.
Yeah, he goes by Colorado Jones. Oh yeah, you don't
Yeah.
have Facebook, so you don't see that name every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
No.
Colorado Jones, aka my brother Keith, and I'm technically his brother Kyle
Yeah.
in certain parts of the world.
Certain parts.
Just really Hayfork. I'm the brother Kyle.
Hey, brother Kyle.
He is just a little guy. Well, that song, Keith, I asked Keith earlier when we were on the phone, I was talking to him, wishing him a happy birthday and everything, and I was like, what kind of music do you want? And he goes, kind of like maybe like a Minor Thready song, and I didn't say it, but I was just like, you know, I think we kind of did that like a month ago with our like punk-esque song.
Yeah.
And then he was
There's
like,
a fight breaking out in chat
I know
right
there
now, dude.
is. Oh, shut up, Keith. Yeah, it's Kyle Mocha won't shut up. Keith Mocha can shut the fuck up whenever he needs to. Oh. But yeah,
So-
big happy birthday to him, and that was your birthday present.
Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off. Your
Yeah.
story. You did not finish your story.
Which
I'm
was
sorry.
my story. I was talking.
You were talking Minor Threat. You didn't want to.
Oh
tell
yeah,
him.
yeah. And so he goes, yeah, just play a Dinosaur Jr. style song.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you like Dinosaur Jr. and you listened to the theme song, that's what that is. We just we wrote a nice Dinosaur
And
Jr.
if you
style
really
riff.
like Dinosaur Jr. and you listening to the theme song, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we did what we can. But yeah, it's episode 14. This is our last episode before we take a little break. We're gonna take a 2-week break, a much needed break. We're all tired. We all work, and then we do this, and then you guys do other things as well.
Right.
So we need a nice break, a little refresher, gather ourselves, and come back in 2 weeks and be funnier than ever.
I'm
Something
taking
like that.
classes on
Yeah.
being funnier in the 2 weeks that we're.
Who's teaching you?
Gary Busey.
Gary Busey?
yeah,
oh,
I mean,
that's a
that's a
guy who
good-
knows how
He's
to be
also
funny.
teaching me how to snort cocaine off the back of a
Dolphin?
a golden lab.
Golden. Oh, that's a lot of
That's
hair.
a lot, yeah, but he knows his
He
secret
knows
to get
his
it.
nose can sort through.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Hey.
Oh jeez. All right. So speaking of you guys doing
Thanks,
other
Gary.
things, and part of why you guys might be a little run down right now. You had the show on Friday last week. We had Big Pat here, which turned into a hell of a night of podcasting. It was the first episode I did not want to finish listening to because I was like, I don't know what happens the last half hour of this. And then when I listened back to it, it's just Big Pat's fight night story.
Mm-hmm.
And me just sarcastically in the microphone going, yeah, yep. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I just zoned out for a half an hour and just kept looking over at Alyssa, then going back, and I was like, oh, I know this story, so I can jump in at any point. This is great.
Yeah.
But you guys, he was here promoting, and you guys did your show.
We did.
On Friday, Brunch's first live performance.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun, man.
You had Mr. Richard Blackmore and Dead Men there as well.
Inner Temple and Idle Hands.
Yeah, and the show, the first half of the show, I will tell you, was phenomenal. You guys did a great job. Second half of the show, I Irish goodbye and took a lift home because I had to be at Warped Tour the next morning. So, you know.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being there.
I support Richard wholeheartedly with all of my heart. And with
what that means, Kyle.
Yeah, with all of my heart, with the wholeheartedly.
Wholeheartedly.
Yeah, with all of my heart.
Yeah.
I'm clarifying just to make sure he thinks I'm wholeheartedly half of my heart.
Now it's sounding sarcastic.
It is a little bit.
He has a message for you.
Maybe. Yeah, he says, "Yeah, thanks, bro." But everybody loved your guys' performance. It was a really.
I was happy. It was good to see everybody come out, man.
It was a good.
Thank you. If you came out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And if you came out because of this show, let us know so we can start keeping track of what kind of Kyle bumps we're giving. You know, Colbert used to have the Colbert bump on his show. You talk about something. And
I just want them Gary Busey bumps.
You just want Gary Busey bumps off the back of a Labrador? Oh, Lordy.
Thanks, Gary.
Keith says that when he first met Richard, he put a wrapper in his pocket and walked away. I don't know if Richard put
a hole. You can't fit Big Pat in your pocket, man. Good luck.
I wonder what rapper. Maybe it was Nas. Could you fit Nas in a pocket?
I don't know.
Nas is. I'm fairly sure Nas is short.
Yeah, I think he's the shorter guy.
Maybe.
I've never seen a picture of
Lil Wayne.
Lil Wayne.
Lil Wayne is little.
Lil.
That's why they call him that.
Well, they used to just call Lil Bow Wow because he was a small person as in a child.
He was a child. Lil Wayne has always been child size.
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah. Even when he was born, he came out.
He's always been the exact same size.
Yeah.
From when he was.
He popped out and was just shouting. And
Daddy!
That must have been a terrible. How was a C-section that birth? Don't even want to see.
No, it was worth it though.
Yeah.
Came out, they looked at his mom, was like, "This boy's gonna be a star." He had the face tattoos and everything. He was born with that shit.
That's fucking hard, dude.
It was a tough baby. So yeah, I did like I said, I went to Warped Tour on Saturday, and it's last year Warped Tour, so it's a little bittersweet because it was going to a festival that died for me a decade ago.
Exactly.
And last time I was at a Warped Tour was 7 years ago. With 7 years ago to the day Saturday, which is my sister's birthday, and I apologize to her for not making this whole episode about her. But today's actually Keith's birthday, so deal with it. But we wanted to go for the last one, and there weren't really a lot of bands that you would expect to be on Warped Tour if you went to Warped Tour, years ago. And like I said, 2011, Keith and I were in a band
to get bands. Hey, will you play this show, please?
Yeah. And even one of the bands made a joke. They were like, "Wouldn't it be cool if Blink-182 came back and did Warped Tour?" And everyone cheers, and they're like, "They didn't, but we're gonna play a Blink-182 song now." And that's what it kind of turned into.
Oh, that's when I would have shit my pants and left.
Yeah, well, that was
left my shitty pants there.
Right as we were leaving, that was happening. We were walking over to say goodbye to somebody, but yeah, I played it in 2011 with Poor Ghost, Micah and Levi, and a bunch of our friends. The only other person would have been Adam and then Keith. And we played 7 years ago, July 14th, and at that one I knew maybe half the bands. And then in 2006 I was on it with My Steady Backfire, and I knew all of the bands probably at that point. And at that point, most of the bands that were playing were already being laughed at by, the Bad Religions, the NoFX, all all of the screamo bands coming out.
It
So
has, that's the change in.
yeah. And then that made me realize that I was walking around a tour that was built for 14, 15-year-old kids, and I'm a 32-year-old man going, this tour's stupid. Why did Real Big Fish play at 12:45 in the afternoon? Which still, why the fuck did Real Big Fish play at 12:45 in the afternoon?
Because for all you old people.
Yeah, but I was late because I'm old. So I was in the parking lot drinking. And
Okay.
And you're right, Rich. It was a sad lineup. It really was.
It was.
That's
Most
why
of them
Riot
did
Fest is like a fuck you to them.
Riot
dude.
Fest is a big fuck you to them, and that's why the I'm gonna keep having dyslexia on the dyslexia, but the Punk and Drublic tour, that took away a lot of them as well. But Hatebreed played at 1:15. We were in the parking lot, and I'm like, who is that in the background? Like, well, who's playing already? And I'm like,
Jasta.
yeah, I just hear him like, all right, you dumb motherfuckers, just shouting whatever. He's more respectable than that. He's not really shouting, you dumb motherfuckers. He was shouting things from
If
he
was more respectable than that, he would have picked a better band name.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Well, do you know why? Do you know why they were named Hatebreed?
No.
You don't know? Okay.
That's kept me from liking them my entire life.
Well, Hatebreed, from the story that I had heard, and this is, I forget who exactly told me. Jamie Jasta is the product of a rape. So his mom was raped, and then he was bred of that hate.
Oh, God, that makes it even more...
Yeah, so he was bred of hate.
That's rough.
Right? So every single time someone's like, I fucking love Hatebreed, it's like, I fucking love that your mom got raped and you happened.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what they're saying.
So
It's kind of a silver lining.
Yeah, but
So I'm doing
he
him
did
a
choose that,
favor
though.
by not liking his band.
Maybe.
He did choose to.
He
use
chose to
name,
do that,
though.
yeah. But either way, they played like 1:15, and then outside of that, the two oldest bands on the tour were Simple Plan and Bowling for Soup. And Bowling for Soup, the cool thing is that a friend of ours, or somebody that we all kind of know in a small fashion or another, Rob Felicetti, who's been in Patent Pending,
Right.
Pull the Pin locally here, for the last... I mean, he was in shortwave radio. That was when I first interacted with him. He was probably
I
like
worked
15,
with him
16.
at the Sherman for a
You
while,
worked with him at the
doing
Sherman.
load-ins and such.
And he
Yeah.
still does the big shows there,
Yeah,
books
yeah.
them and tours. But he, I guess, had drummed for Bowling for Soup like a year or so ago. Same thing he kind of did with the Ataris. He drummed for him a little bit, then played guitar or something like that.
Right.
Bounced around. Nobody threw any drum sets at him at this show, though, so that's a good thing. But they had him playing bass, and so I run up and I'm just trying to get his attention by giving him the finger the entire. I just leave the girls behind, just ran to the front of it. And by the time I got to the front, the lead singer and the guitar player, who are both very, very large gentlemen, and I can't believe they, did the set and then sat outside for 4 hours signing autographs afterwards.
Yeah.
Because it was really fucking hot.
It was a hot day, dude.
Oh, it was very hot. And then they go to the crowd and they go, all right, everybody, who likes our song Stacy's Mom? And the whole crowd's like, yeah, fuck yeah, Stacy's Mom, woo! And they all kind of like in unison start shaking their heads like, fuck you, that's not our song! But you know
Great
what?
song.
Everybody thinks it's our song, so we're gonna confuse iTunes. We're gonna get the royalties. Fuck it. Here's Stacy's Mom, and they start playing Stacy's Mom, and the whole crowd singing along, jumping around, and it's a fun, catchy. It's a good song.
Sure.
And then at the end of it, they're like, "Thank you for singing along and being the happiest about a song that is not ours."
Is that because that song sounds like that 1985 song?
Well, I think it's because in 1985 they go bring back Stacy Madonna way before Nirvana.
Yeah,
so
right.
Stacy, and they both came out within a year or two of each other. So it's very understandable.
Well,
that
you
they're
know
gonna
what? Where
get
is the Fountains of Wayne?
Fountains of
Where
Wayne?
are they?
Yeah.
Fountains of Wayne. I don't know whatever happened to them, but cool
Bowling
thing,
for Soup's still playing gigs.
they are. They're still touring the world, and Fountains of Wayne is maybe touring, but I've not heard of them.
They're touring Wayne, New Jersey.
Wayne, New Jersey. Yeah, they're touring the Fountains of Wayne for New Jersey. Every day, 3:30, they do a walking tour with an acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
But they're actually a really, really fun band. And the little Keith style trivia here, the guitar player, I believe, for Fountains of Wayne, wrote with Tom Hanks the entire soundtrack for the movie That Thing You Do, which is why that movie has the catchiest, most enjoyable
sense.
music. Yeah. It is written by a guy who...
Never heard of it.
You never heard of That Thing You Do? Oh, Lord. Now, That Thing You Do is a movie about a one-hit wonder band from the 1960s from Erie, PA. And it was written, directed by Tom Hanks, stars Tom Hanks, Liv Tyler, Steve Zahn's in it, a bunch of other actors that have been in random things throughout the years. And it's all about their rise to fame over like a very short period of time and what fame
Was that
does to a
after
band.
Stacy's Mom or
This
before?
is 1996, this movie came out.
Oh, wow.
So,
And then that guy became
a decade later.
One-hit wonder guy.
Yeah, a decade later. It's kind of a cruel, sweet
Talk
irony.
about baking your own fortune cookies.
I would. Ooh, I've never baked my own fortune cookie.
I don't know how you. I would love to learn though. I love fortune cookies.
I would do a fortune cookie stuffed with some creme or something like that.
We should do that. We should make our
Your
own.
fortune is blue cream.
Or goat semen.
Or goat semen. It could be. It just tells you whatever you break into.
Fish eyes.
Fish eyes. Yeah. What does this mean? And there's like a little
Like
piece of paper that comes along with it that tells you what each with the goat eyes means that you're gonna live another.
See here, the
years.
Snake, bitch. It's snake meat.
Oh yeah, that dude from Dead Man on Campus, Michael Martino said. The guy from Dead Man on Campus. Have you ever seen that movie?
No.
Oh, you gotta see. We gotta start watching movies with you.
Yeah.
New podcast. We make Zach watch movies. The podcast.
Shitty 80s movies.
Shitty 80s movies.
Or early 90s movies.
They're 90s movies, and they're really good. They're not shitty. You're just crazy.
That's the name of the podcast, though.
Shitty 80s movies.
Yeah,
All right.
we watch
We
decent
only watch
90s
decent
movies.
90s movies. This week, Con Air. And next week, Armageddon. Then Face Off. We're only watching
I could watch
Nick Cage
Face Off every
action
week.
movies. Face Off's a phenomenal film.
People disagree with me all the
I
time.
know.
Terrible, dude.
It's so
Great.
good.
It is great, but
It's
it's
so
bad.
but it's okay. Do you go that or The Rock? Which one's better for you?
They're both just as cheesy, dude.
They're so good.
They are.
Do you like the theory that The Rock is a sequel in a way to James Bond, and that's actually James Bond's character after he was thrown out of?
I hope so.
What is it?
MI6?
MI6. Yeah, I was gonna say MI5.
Am I 6
Am I
or
6?
7?
Am I 6 or 7? My 6 is that's like the
Kid, you 8 years old. Get
That's
a
why
grip.
Tom Cruise started to name all of the Mission Impossible ones, because the fourth one was like M-I.
Yeah.
He just was M-I and then Roman numeraling it.
Oh,
so it's
yeah,
Mission
yeah.
Impossible and then
We're up to
4.
like Mission Impossible 400.
I think
though.
it's like 6 or 7 that's coming out soon.
Yeah.
Hopefully I
that's
get to
another.
see that over the
I
break.
just watch.
Every Mission Impossible.
Do you know
just
what I
watching-
actually hope they do with the rest of them? Like
What?
when they finally decide they're going to end it,
Yeah.
it's just an impossible mission that they can't
Yeah.
actually do. That's
Actually-
how they should,
They should actually just fail miserably and they all go down.
and they all die. Yeah.
I mean, well, apparently this installment is going to be the darkest. It's going to be as I don't know if who told me this, but they said it's going to be like kind of like the Dark Knight to Batman. It's going to be where it
That
kind of
was.
shifts.
I always
Cruise,
forget
he
that Simon
called-
Pegg's also
He called
in
it that. Simon Pegg is in it. It's
I
a
always
whole
forget that
he's
he's
been
in
in
that,
since
dude.
like the third or the
Yeah.
fourth one.
Yeah.
And I think Ving Rhames is the only person that's been in every single one of them besides Tom Cruise.
Yep.
And because everybody else in the first one got killed off. It would have been great if they never killed off Emilio Estevez in the first 5 minutes and they just had Emilio Estevez's career was just showing up in Mission Impossible movies.
Yeah.
Or if he's really alive and the whole time
He's
just been operating.
Maybe he's
things
actually
behind.
just Tom Cruise.
Oh, with the
Pull the
mask
mask.
on.
Yeah.
How many layers of those masks can you wear?
I don't know, dude.
It depends
Oh,
how big
Lord.
your head
Too
is.
many.
If you got a really little head, you could wear a lot of layers of
You
masks.
Well, Tom
If you had a
Cruise-
big old head, you
Does he have a big head or tiny? I mean, he's
I don't
just
know,
looks
He's
man.
tiny.
I
He's a
think
tiny
he's a
dude, I
short
think.
guy.
He's a short guy. He has to jump on couches so you can see him.
You're right.
12-year-old jokes. Oh
That's not jokes about 12-year-olds. If you're listening,
no, we'll
that's
do
a
those
12-year-old
later. We do the
joke.
12-year-olds jokes a little bit later on in the show. So like I said, we're gonna be taking a couple of weeks off.
Yep.
I'm going on vacation down to Delaware.
Which is pretty cool, man.
Yeah,
What are you doing?
relax. We're gonna just really go to the beach, relax, go to Assateague, which is an island that's covered with wild horses.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's really
Yeah,
weird.
you were
we
talking
went, we
about
went there
that.
last year, and you just sit on the beach and
So
there's
you
just
just can't touch them. Right?
can't touch them. They eat poison ivy and stuff like that, and
Will
they're
they
also
eat
wild.
people?
They'll bite. They'll attack you if you approach them. They say to keep like 10, 15
Jesus.
feet
Is
away.
it creepy how horses' teeth look so much like people teeth?
They are a
Yeah.
little weird,
Oh, every time I see a horse's teeth,
and they smile at you.
yeah, it looks just like human teeth, but way bigger.
Yeah.
You're right.
Oh Lord. Well, I
Unless you're
think
Gary Busey.
I was gonna say Gary Busey's teeth are the size of a horse's, and his
Yeah.
son Jake Busey's teeth might be even bigger, or his head smaller. How many masks
Could be
does
both.
Jake Busey have on? Is he just Gary Busey underneath all? All right, so I'm going on vacation, and then Zach, you're going to see Slayer in the next couple of weeks, right? Are you doing that?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I thought I
think
thought I
so.
heard you had said something about that.
Will said, "You want to go?" I said,
And this is their last tour,
"I
right?
said, yeah, this is Slayer's
supposedly their
farewell
last
tour."
Yeah.
So it's a year of farewells, and we just saw before we went on a little bit ago, minus the Bear Menace El Oso, they're going to be doing their final tour. I thought they already probably had, but I guess
I didn't know they were still
Yeah.
doing
I
it.
had no
Yeah,
idea.
I did not listen to anything since Menace El Oso. which I think is like 2006. And they,
because it was just so good.
yeah.
I just didn't need to ever listen to anything else I ever did.
Thank you for your art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See you never. All right.
Or
Well,
maybe. Who knows?
speaking of
everybody says they're going away and then they
Yeah.
pop back up.
They pop
Bryce
back
did it.
it's
and,
the way to get. That's what we were joking about at Warped
I
Tour.
mean, you take a break.
Yeah.
It's a way to get a good
How
break.
many final Aussie tours has he been on? Oh, shitload.
I don't know.
Well, that's what we were saying at Warped Tour. Do you think in 10 years they're going to be like the Warped Tour reunion tour? Or do you think they're just going to pull out Riot Fest and start doing the Warped Tour locations?
yeah, they'll
where they
probably
do a really
instead
big
of
festival?
instead of it traveling,
Yeah.
they'll probably just do one or two locations.
Do the same thing?
They'll probably take a year or
Pick a
two
Denver,
off.
pick a Chicago.
I
pick
say
something
by
like that.
at least in 5 years, you'll see
Yeah.
that pop back up.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
I
Kevin
mean,
Lyman's
when you
new
were there
tour.
this time, was the crowd mostly people our age?
No,
or were they still
that's
children?
That's what I was saying. It has always been a tour for 14 to 17 year
Sure,
olds.
that's
In
why
the,
the
in the
lineup
90s,
looks so bad.
in 96,
be
95,
honest.
96, you had bands that 14 to 17 year olds were
Well,
listening to.
this year, was it
This
still
year,
for children?
4 Year Strong was like the 4 Year Strong Mayday Parade. They were the ones that were closing out the night. There were bands that I don't know anything about, but Every Time I Die was on. Unearth was on. So there were still good bands. It was a good mixture of everything. But I do have to say, I think the best performance overall, because it could have been really disappointing. William Ryan Key, who I saw open for Newfound Glory back in May, and then he was also playing with them. He's the lead singer of Yellow Card. He used to just go by Ryan Key, but now he goes by his full name, William Ryan Key. He does really kind of somber, really good acoustic music, but he was on the main stage, like the two main stages. He was on it at like 2:30 in the afternoon. So everybody's there. The whole crowd fills up, and they're all there just because it's the next artist playing. So
Right.
he sets up, and he goes out there, and it's just him, and that's what he does. He takes a huge rip of his ass right into the microphone, and he goes, "I'm William Ryan Key. I've been on this tour, on and off since 2000, 2001. I was with Yellow Card," and he starts talking, and then I'm sure it was already planned out, but then he kind of just does this whole thing where he says, it really sucks that Yellow Card isn't represented by anything, other than me on this tour, and, I've got this acoustic album coming out, but you know what? Fuck it. I'm only playing Yellow Card songs today. And then he just sat there and did pretty much Ocean Avenue minus like 2 or 3 songs in its entirety.
I thought they only had
acoustic.
one song.
They had that album. They had an album, something with the light after that. But before it, they had an album that I believe either had a song on it called Midget Tossing or was called Midget Tossing.
Ooh.
And it was fun. It was a more, I don't know,
say
just
that kind of shit
Yeah.
these
you
days.
can't say that kind of shit these days. That's why I wanted to get close enough so I could shout play Midget Tossing, because I don't know if you would. It's a PC world nowadays.
But you
Yeah.
missed a question I asked.
What?
What was the age of the people there this year?
This year, I would say that there were the majority of people were between the ages of 15 and 20, I would say, like just the average person walking around, but there were a lot of older people.
That's what I was looking
Yeah,
for.
I think
Was
there
it a
were
nostalgia thing?
Yes, there were people walking out crying at the end of it, going like, "This is the last time I'm going to Warped
That's
Tour."
exactly what I was thinking.
And those people are the ones, that probably went every single year since, the early 2000s, and
Right.
now they're our age, and it's like something they've been doing every summer. Somebody, I think, referred to it as punk rock summer camp. I guess that's like a kind of an idea of what they've referred to it in the past. But honestly, yeah, it's always been a younger tour. I was shocked with how many people were in the booze line, so it was a lot of people of age to
Because
drink.
that's like, if they do bring it back, people went this time because it was a nostalgia trip for them.
Sure.
So in 5 years from now, if they do Warped Tour, we're going to do 1 or 2 big shows here and there. We're all, hopefully, we're all adults enough and have our priorities and life stuff together. Be like, yeah, I could take a trip.
Yeah,
Go,
I could go to
I
that
could take
one
a trip
night,
to go
like,
see
Tuesday
that.
thing.
You know what I mean? Like,
You take a little break. Yeah, take a
Yeah.
little break. Let everybody mature a little bit more. Save up some money, and let me go.
but yeah, it
fly
doesn't
out
have to
to
gonna
come to me.
cost so
Yeah,
much.
wherever.
Yeah.
It's gonna cost so much money for them to just keep unloading, loading, traveling,
Oh, God.
setting up.
Yeah.
For the bands as well. Like
Yeah.
that's a big commitment to be. All right, we're taking how many weeks? 8, 10 weeks, whatever. However the length of the tour is. Like,
Yeah, I think that for me, just the feeling, I mean, even in 2006 when we were on it, it was Monster Energy Drink had just started sponsoring it. So, like, first time I experienced it was, like, the first time it was, you know, like Snoop Dogg was headlining and
Right.
Under Oath was on it. So it was like already that era had changed.
Wow, Monster has come real far.
Right.
They're doing Warped Tour back in the day. Now they do NASCAR.
Yeah.
NASCAR.
They literally, that's a huge
Well, they found more
improvement
money.
for them.
Yeah.
Much more
Way
money.
more money.
And back then, it was like that was just something that the weird dirty kids, I guess, drank was energy drinks, and now it's just everybody needs an energy drink.
Now
to
we're
get
all
through the day.
addicted. I'm addicted to that shit, dude.
Yeah, I
I
can't
just
do
drank
it.
one, dude.
Last week I had Purple Monster in a mixed
Yeah,
beverage that he
yeah.
made for me with the Smirnoff Red, White, and Berry,
Yeah.
which is delicious.
It is.
It's only 30%, but you know,
35.
it's delicious. 35.
It's a
Okay.
35. Yeah.
It's a little bit above Malibu, but it tastes like a bomb pop, which is
100%.
amazing.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's so good. But yeah, so
Good for a hot day.
I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna really miss Warped Tour because things like Riot Fest exist. They still have, you know, festivals for the harder stuff. You still have your metal fests,
Sure.
and I mean they still do Ozfest every year, or no? Have they not done that in a while?
I honestly don't
This is
know.
hardcore. Anything like that? Is that hey people?
I'm sure they
chit-chatting
do,
in the
but I don't
room.
think
Anybody know
Ozfest
what
is a thing.
harder fest still exists in
I
our
mean,
chat
in
room
Europe, there's
Yeah.
still
here?
huge stuff. Like, if you really want to go to a metal festival, you save your pennies and you go to FACA and you go to Hellfest.
Okay,
They do
Hellfest.
something
That's
like
the one
that,
I'm thinking
yeah.
of. That's Europe, Hellfest.
Hellfest is in Europe, isn't it?
Okay.
I know there have been some
probably.
in here, but I thought
I don't know. For me personally,
I don't know, I don't
like
go to
like
festivals.
personal shows, man. I like smaller venues.
Me too.
You know what I mean? And I don't know if that's a thing about being older and wanting to go to a show, but I would much rather a smaller room or
Yeah.
realistically no bigger than a Sherman-sized place to watch a show. Like
Yeah.
that's a perfect size, I think, for me.
All
you know
right,
what's
Like,
nice?
James O just chimed in and said East Coast Tsunami Fest, Maryland Death Fest. This is hardcore.
Maryland Death
Still
Fest.
happens.
Yeah.
Okay, so they still happen. Riot Fest gives you the punk stuff, and then I just found out that Deftones are going to be doing their own
Yeah.
festival.
Oh,
They are
It's
doing
a
their own
lineup.
festival. The
It's a
lineup is
weird lineup.
It's
very-
strange.
It's the mix
very-
of like hip hop and all sorts
I
of
mean,
things.
that's stuff that they like
Pop.
though. Like
Future
Chino
is
himself likes weird shit. Man.
Yeah.
Like he'll pop up on like 30 Seconds of Mars shows because he wants to sing with them. Like, type
Really?
of shit. Yeah.
Oh,
like,
we
he's
listened
just
to that
into,
new
like,
30
weird
Seconds
stuff.
of Mars song last week when we were writing that
We
terrible
listened to
theme
a
song.
couple of them, dude.
bad.
It's
Oh my
so-
god! Not that they were ever amazing, but I mean, they've always 30 Seconds of Mars is a band that has always just genre jumped. Their first album
Sure.
is kind of a new metal album, and then 4 years later they come out with Beautiful Lie or whatever, and it's just capitalizing on the screamo meets Panic at the Disco
Sure.
era of music, and now they're just jumping right along with like a hip hop sounding. I don't even know what it is. It's just trancy hip hop cult music. That's the only thing I can think to really call it.
Yeah.
Sounds like you need to join a cult to enjoy it, probably.
I think they already did that, man.
Yeah. What, James, you're saying? Did James, yeah, if anybody put on Punk Fest anywhere in Jersey. Well, they did the Skate and Surf and then
They did,
Bamboozle
yeah.
or whatever. I don't know if those go on at all.
I don't know if Bamboozle's a thing anymore.
Yeah, Skate and Surf was the
think so.
precursor to Bamboozle, I believe. Or it ended as the
Do
same
they?
time
And they
as
don't do
Bamboozle.
Coachella or anything anymore, right?
Coachella still happens.
Coachella's-
Coachella
yeah.
still happens.
But
Well,
that-
Coachella is the most
Firefly-
bullshit
Yeah.
fucking place ever. I think I've said this on the podcast before when Coachella was happening. We were looking at pictures of it, and I
Yeah.
was just like, God, that's somewhere I don't want to be.
Yeah, well, even Warped Tour kind of, like I was saying, like, it shifted. The thought of it being a punk festival is done. Like,
Sure.
it wasn't
Well,
that,
that died
for
off a
the
little
last
while,
12, 13, 14 years. But I didn't realize it so much because this is the first time I went as a fan. So walking in, walking around, seeing the advertisements everywhere, actually, like, noticing things, paying
Yeah.
$22 for 3 Rita's Ices that were like a small to medium size, stuff like that. It's just like way
Yeah.
overpriced. And it used to be, from what I've heard, just literally there was a truck bed out on one side of a field, and that's where Newfound Glory was playing because no one else would let them play anywhere. So they just got a truck bed and set up on it and put a PA system. It was more like anything when it first starts. It's more grassroots. It's more
Sure.
simplified. And then obviously the more money that goes into it, the more money that people want to invest. Because this year it was Vans Warped Tour presented by Journeys. So it's not even, it's like
Wait,
the Vans Warped Tour presented by Journeys.
Did Journeys buy Vans? Do
I
they
don't.
own?
They might because
that
they
why it
do
is?
like prominently feature them.
You're
I don't
right.
know, Keith. You're my resident Journeys expert. You work there. about a decade and a half ago. So maybe if you know anything about that, you can let us know. Does Journeys own vans now?
Yeah, I don't know.
It would make sense.
The last time I was at a Warped Tour, though, I remember being there early enough that when we were going in, waters costed $1.
Yeah.
As soon as a band started playing,
Yeah.
they were $6.
Water was only $3, and they let you bring in an unopened or an empty water
Well, then they
bottle.
fucking changed that, or it was just shitty of the venue at the time.
Yeah,
because it
I
was
think-
like $1. Okay, cool. I'll wait. I'm not thirsty.
I remember
Yeah.
water filling stations.
Yeah,
They
they
had
had water
them.
filling
They did
stations.
have
They have
that.
the misters, all that stuff. People, and it was really cool because people, idiots that just drink a bunch of sugary beverages and then pass out in the pit because they've never, gone to a festival before or whatever. They were passing out, and the bands were doing the nice thing and stopping and letting them get out, so not trampled to death. So that's the plus side to the way things used to be.
Sure.
You would have just gotten trampled 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And then you would have been the guy that died at Warped Tour, and there would have been a big,
Wait, the people
story
that
about
own
it.
Journeys own lids?
They own lids.
Oh.
Okay, same store.
I guess that makes
doesn't
sense.
that doesn't help us.
Well, there isn't a Lids in the mall anymore, so
No,
I
it's at-
assume they went out of business.
No, they're
completely.
No,
at-
they're
at the
still in
crossings,
other
dude.
malls in the crossings. Yeah.
Oh.
They're in the crossings, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we're gonna jump to our first break. Today's music is supplied by our good friend Sean Araujo. I believe we are playing music that's he and his brother Justin. Which one are we going with?
We're gonna
first?
do Improv 2.
Improv 2.
It's cool. It's kind of tribal-y.
Hell
sounding.
yeah. Well, Sean is a master of music, plays all sorts of instruments. He's been doing the podcast for forever and does their theme songs. He's done theme songs for Todd Glass's project
That's
or
cool.
podcast. I believe Let Me Ask You a Question. He did for How Did This Get Made, the Paul Shear. So he's written a lot of really great music. He's a professional musician and music teacher. So this is just a big plug and an advertisement for him and his all of his projects.
Yep.
So we're gonna play this.
You're gonna hear 2 different styles too,
Yeah.
which is cool.
Awesome. And we'll be back in a couple of minutes to talk about shit you guys want to talk about on Facebook.
Yep.
Bye. And we are back.
That was cool as fuck.
That is fucking sweet. I feel like I wish I meditated.
Yeah.
Because that would be a good meditation.
Yeah, it's
song.
nice and chill. The other song that you guys had sent was very similar in sound, very kind of like moody.
So the second one, we're going with the more punk feel.
Yeah, the punk
submitted.
one.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you again to Sean for submitting that. And anybody listening, if you're an artist, if you make music, if you make videos, if you make visual art anything.
Photos.
Send it our way. We'll put you up while we're talking, while music's playing, anything you want. If it's an image, if it's a video, we can play it along with the music, animation. We can just, if it's a video with sound, we'll just play that. But if you're a band, especially, please send us your music. We would love to every week have new music from new people and kind of just spread the exposure there as much as we can possibly spread it. You know, there are 4 to 5 people listening at any given time on this podcast. Now, any given time generally is between 9 and 10:30. Yeah. Outside of that, you know, we're getting some people listening. We are, yeah. And again, someday, we'll be on iTunes and it'll be available. All of these episodes will come at you at once. Correct. You'll love it. Speaking of loving it, every week we pick a different beer. Sometimes we go a little weird. Sometimes we go.
I thought you were going to McDonald's on this for some reason.
What was that?
I thought you were going to McDonald's.
Yeah, we're podcast on pause. We're going to
McDonald's. We'll be back in about a half hour.
Just kidding.
And we're back.
Oh man, I'm so full.
Oh, that was a lot of McDonald's.
I'm just saying.
Oh, that 20-piece McNugget box. It's much easier to eat it just if you pour the sauce in the box, shake the box up, and then pour the whole thing in your mouth, and then lick the inside of the box.
Yeah,
it's a really good way to do it. That's just boneless wings at that point.
Yeah, that's right.
It's pretty much what it is. Life hack. There you go. Ask for a lot of packages of whatever sauce you like.
You know what's really good too? If you get the hash brown for breakfast, and you just eat the wrapper too.
Eat the wrapper?
Just eat the whole fucking wrapper.
The whole thing's
just
good.
One bite, eat the wrapper and the hash brown.
Well, Keith told me about this thing a few years back that he called the McGlutton. I don't know where it came from, but it was you order a McChicken, you order a whole McChicken, and you order a McDouble, which used to just cost you $2, and then you ask for a thing of sweet and sour sauce, and then you split the McDouble in half. You put the McChicken in between it, and then you put the sweet and sour sauce, I think, all over the chicken. Slam them together, and for $2, it is
can you just ask them to make that for you? They'll make it.
You might.
I think he said you used to be able to just go up and
that would be sweet.
Give them a name, and they would.
Outside of an In-N-Out, I've never ordered anything off a secret menu or anything outside of the box.
Yeah.
And Taco Bell, I don't order anything outside the bun there. Everything's outside the bun there. Yeah. It's a clever gimmick they have.
So clever, we said it wrong.
Because they don't have buns. That's the whole joke.
They have fries now, though.
They do?
Like regular French fries?
No, they're not. There's some sort of nacho taco fries.
Nacho taco fries? Are they just Doritos cut into French
Probably.
fries?
No, it's like Burger King fries.
Okay.
With Cheese Whiz to dip it in.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really need that in my life.
It's all right.
But what I do need in my life are people on Facebook giving us suggestions of things to talk about and beer.
Yeah.
The beer that we're drinking today is Founders Solid Gold. Now, we usually go with something light, something shitty, and this is basically Founders' approach to doing something light and something shitty, but it's really good.
It's really good.
It tastes, to me, the way that a Coors original
Banquet.
A banquet should taste.
Growing up as a kid, or even in my teenage years before I actually drank anything, this is what I thought a beer would taste like.
Yeah, it tastes like it could just say beer on the can.
Yeah, pretty much. And I'm assuming that's Greg.
Oh,
saying
yeah.
we have to get Lone Star on one episode.
Ooh.
Lone Star, the band?
No, Lone Star
Life is a highway.
Spaceballs.
Spaceballs?
Lone Star.
Lone Star. Oh. That's what I thought. Is there another besides the band?
What is the Lone Star he's talking about?
He wants the whole steakhouse. He wants to go get the steakhouse on the band.
We could go to Lone Star Steakhouse.
And just do a podcast from Lone Star?
Yeah, and eat a whole bunch of steak.
I think we have to go to far away because they closed like all of those. That's terrible. I go do a Roadhouse instead.
Go to Texas.
Yeah.
Roadhouse?
Oh, the beer.
Texas Roadhead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's actually our name. Me and James-O, I think, riffed the nickname. It's Indiana Roadhead is our name of Texas Roadhouse because they were founded in Indiana and then Roadhead. Because that's what you think when you hear Roadhead. It's Roadhead or Roadhouse, but
The Lone Rangers.
the Lone Rangers. The Lone... You pluralize the Lone Ranger? Keith just randomly blurted out the Lone Rangers.
And Greg was
That's
talking
great.
about beer. Lone
Beer!
Star
Ooh, Lone Star.
We'll have to find.
I don't know if I've ever had Lone Star beer.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
never-
I've heard
Maybe
of
I
it.
have.
Is it
Maybe.
good?
I don't
Is
know.
it bad?
I asked for anything.
It's a
Yeah.
beer company.
It's a beer company. I like beer companies.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Facebook. To our Facebook. Every week I post something to the effect of, okay, friends, what do you want me to say or talk about on the live stream tonight? Literally anything goes.
Okay.
So, in the past, our big ones have been bukkake.
Yes.
That's one that came up a lot.
Always a fan.
And boobs.
Boobs, yeah.
seems to come up every single week. Now, our first suggestion is not boobs. Our second one was
Okay. All right.
by the same person, and I let him know that we do discuss boobs even when they're not suggested, like last week, and that sometimes it might talk about men boobs
Sure.
because man boobs happen. They exist.
Yeah.
I have them.
Sure.
People have them.
Yeah.
They get sweaty.
Yeah.
And they're gross. But he said if we talk about women's breasts more fervently, he'd be happy. So women's breasts aren't as hairy usually.
Usually.
I like it when they're surprise hairy chest.
You like
lady.
surprise nipple hair? Just like one curly nipple hair?
Yeah, one long one. I'll take that. I'll pull it out.
Floss
I'll
with
floss.
it.
Oh my God! You had my brain. You know what I was gonna say.
Let's open up a club where people floss with their nipple hairs, and then we on each other.
Yes.
All right. So the first suggestion was laces versus Velcro.
Okay.
The practical advantages and the social views on each.
Well, for me, Velcro, it may be quicker, but
Yeah.
there's zero fucking support for that
Yeah.
shit, dude. Like,
terrible.
just take the 2 seconds to tie some fucking laces so you won't break your ankle.
What are
My
your
problem
opinions?
with Velcro is I can never get them even. Even
Yeah.
Velcro, like on my glove, like
Do you get
gloves at
OCD
work.
with the strap
Yeah,
not
like
being correct?
with one being a little bit tighter than the other.
Yep.
I find even if I visually make them the same, one always feels different
Yeah.
than the other. I never have that problem with shoelaces.
True. And I went through a short phase when I was about 18 years old where I thought a lot of people started buying, had always really been buying their clothes from like Salvo, like kind of like the punk way, like you buy an old like soccer t-shirt or something like that. I took it a step in a different direction, and I don't know what would have happened if I kept going with this, but I decided to start buying all of the old man stretchy dress pants
Okay.
that old men used to wear like in the 70s, like the light blue ones, like the
Oh, yeah.
leisure
Yeah,
suit
yeah,
pants or whatever. So I got a bunch of those, and then I started wearing along with them Velcro shoes, and I was just going after the old man approach.
Yeah.
And Velcro shoes, if you're just walking slowly in them, they're fine. But you're right. The second you got to move in them, you turn your foot a little bit, and it's over.
Yeah, dude.
Done.
It's terrible.
There's no support. You're
Now,
basically
I
fucking-
asked, he said, the social views on each, and I said, are Velcro shoes supporting socialism? And do laces represent the tyranny of
Well,
society?
Velcro shoes aren't supporting anything.
They're not supporting
Sorry.
anything, all right.
Right.
And then do laces represent the tyranny of society over the beast that is man?
Yes, that
Yeah.
was a.
Oh, we're getting some...
That's when I touch my face to the microphone.
I was like, what
We're
the
getting
fuck
some
was
fuzz
that?
I'm electrically charged.
Oh, you are.
Jesus.
Are laces keeping us down?
Yeah, are laces keeping
No,
us down?
I think laces are keeping us tight.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I like
Keep it
it.
moving.
Yeah.
I like it. Laces keep you tight. And you can't wear Nikes without laces. Can you imagine Velcro Nikes? You love Nikes. You would never wear Velcro
They
Nikes.
make those new Nikes that don't even have tongues.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
just
Still
kind of
got
slip 'em
laces.
on.
Yeah. Laces are, so I think that's where we settled. Laces are needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Learn how to
take
tie
2
your damn
seconds to
shoes.
fucking tie a
Yeah.
shoe.
Or be one of the lazy people that you do what I used to do when I had like the old
You
big
have them
vans.
tied already?
I would tie knots at like the top of them and then cut it. So it was just like a little ball of a
Yeah,
knot on
I
top.
gotcha.
And then it was just the big fat skate shoes they used to have in like the early 2000s. And then they were just slippers. But again,
Fair
couldn't
enough.
do anything in them
Yeah,
except
yeah,
to
yeah.
lounge around. And I never skated, so I don't know why I was wearing them.
Hmm.
Our next suggestion, this is one I think we're all going to have a lot to say on the matter.
Okay.
NCAA football and how the new red shirt rule, which allows freshmen to play a maximum 4 to 5 games without giving up a year of eligibility, is going to be great for CFB. The guy says,
jeez.
"Oh yeah." The guy says he can't
Oh,
wait to
jeez.
see how it pans out this fall. Already discussing in a CFB group about ND freshmen that could benefit huge with this. I said, totally going to have a long discussion about this. So my
I mean,
discussion.
I used to know a bunch about college football. I don't really follow.
Well,
anymore,
that was my
but
first question that you answered before. CFB is
college football.
Stands for college football. So
Yep.
we got that out of the way.
And do you know the rule of the red shirt?
You weren't allowed to play.
Yeah, you weren't allowed to play, but you were on the team for 5
Yeah.
years, I think. Like
I only ever
whatever
heard that
fuck
'cause-
The
it
only
was.
red shirt rule I knew about was Star Trek.
Star shirt. You're gonna die.
Yeah.
You're gonna die.
So
So maybe we shouldn't let them play. If they're wearing a red shirt, we shouldn't let them play in the field. They're gonna die.
I don't think
They're marked for
This
death.
is gonna be. Wait, is that what he wants? He wants them to die, so it's great for college football. And
Ups the ratings, dude.
ND
you know how much
freshman
money the
he's
schools are
talking
gonna
about.
get then?
ND.
Oh, and I think that means Notre Dame. That's the only thing I can think.
The red
that means.
shirts of Notre Dame.
The red shirts of Notre Dame. So there you go. There's our football corner for the forever.
I love football.
You love football.
I love NFL, but
NFL.
College football, there's such a huge
Have you ever watched
hurdle to really get into.
Well, I never.
What's going on
the
in
actual
college football.
game, the actual game. Like if you like watching football, watching college football is way better than just.
Oh
NFL.
yeah,
Well,
I love to
those
watch
kids-
a game.
They're
Those
playing their
kids
heart
are-
out because
They're trying to get
paid.
exactly.
That's what it is. They're
Yeah.
trying to get paid, and once you get paid, you can kind of start going up. And
I mean,
my
don't
leg's
get
a
me
little
wrong.
sore.
Don't get me wrong. They still fucking
They play in the
it's
NFL.
it's a different game in the
Yeah.
NFL, but college football is way more
Well,
exciting.
I
and
always
fun to
had a
watch than-
list of a few things that I thought were the most pointless things in the world.
Okay.
And that was basketball,
Okay. Yeah.
college sports, and then college basketball. I think that the second one, college sports, includes college football in there.
Well, you know, like
I didn't go to
volleyball,
college.
dude.
I didn't go to college. I don't have a team that I like because I didn't go to a
Sure.
college. So the idea of going, I like Penn State, I live in Pennsylvania, never really made any sense to me.
No.
And with professional sports, I just always liked what I was told to like from my grandfather or my father.
Sure.
I mean, when I was a kid, I had T-shirts for like the San Francisco Giants. I had T-shirts for the Rays. I had T-shirts in hockey for the Devils, and I didn't like any of them. I was just given these T-shirts, and then eventually it just became all Yankees and Giants, and this is
Sure.
what you like. And I pretend to like football a decent amount. I just more like the food that comes along with a football game. The food and
fucking
beer.
Cowboys, too.
Oh, fucking Cowboys.
God damn it.
If
Who
there's
said anything about the Cowboys?
let's give
Good,
you a
good,
guess. His
good,
name is
good,
Milford.
good.
Oh
Hey,
my
I'll give you one guess. His name's Milford.
As far as college sports go, for college football, I'm a Rutgers fan because I have a bunch of family that works for Rutgers.
Okay.
I've lived near
That
them,
makes sense.
but I don't have no attachment.
But I feel like
to
I
it.
should be, if anything, a real big ESU Warriors fan.
Yeah, I mean, if
Yeah,
you're
but
going,
that's not a real football team.
You don't go tell all of those kids
I mean-
that.
I mean,
Actually,
it's
can we go
just a-
tell all of them that?
that is just a different division.
I
of
want to wear a
football,
flak
but-
jacket.
See, I'll
It's just
go
a different
over,
division of football, but it's
to my-
still a football team. They
Yeah.
still play their hearts out,
I'll
man.
go over to my parents' house. My mom will be wearing Penn State clothes and stuff, and they'll watch Penn State games and shit. And me and my brother didn't go to fucking college.
Yeah.
We're,
Right.
So they
Is
just,
that them just being disappointed
mom
at
just-
you
my
that you
mom
didn't
just-
give
You
them a
didn't make it
reason?
into Penn
Yeah,
State.
my mom just likes football.
Well, I do feel like
So
that.
she's just
She breaks it out
we're
every
from
Christmas.
here,
You're
Penn
such a
State,
disappointment.
yeah, sure, that's
So
cool.
she
I'm
does
in.
what I say I don't want to do.
Yeah,
just
she
be like,
just
I'm
is-
from here.
Yeah,
But I would feel like, I guess Penn
I
State
mean, I'm
is the
sure
biggest in
a
this
multitude of
state,
her
right?
friends' children have gone.
Yeah.
We all know people that
Who have gone to Penn State.
gone to
Oh, yeah.
Penn State.
Oh,
you
definitely.
know?
But, yeah, I don't know. I didn't
Oh,
go,
it's,
so...
it's Linda's son. He went to Penn State. You're like, all right,
So it's
Mom.
okay. I
Support
bought the
the
It's
shirt.
okay.
Oh.
My mom just turned into Jersey Mom real quick.
Yeah, real quick. All right, so next suggestion. Times, this is from Mr. Slacky. Times
Okay.
when drawing dicks on people's faces is considered socially acceptable.
Well,
When is it socially acceptable to draw a dick on someone's face? I say, number one, when they ask you to draw a dick on their face.
sure.
That's a socially acceptable.
Yeah.
When you're in a dick drawing face competition.
Does he mean is it like
Well, I
on a
don't,
picture, or is he talking about
I
physically?
think-
Like
I
if somebody
thought he
passes
meant
out,
physically on his face, but either way, I said all the time, and then took his profile picture, drew dicks coming all over him, and
Yeah.
posted that.
all right.
And it was appreciated by
Now-
Mr. McGinnis and not appreciated by Mr. Slacky.
If I wake up and someone has drawn a dick on my face,
Yes.
just as a matter of pride,
Yeah, your principal there.
I'm gonna fight somebody.
Yeah.
I may lose.
I can honestly say
I'm
never
gonna wake up
done
swinging.
drawn on anybody that was fucked up.
I've drawn on someone I would say when I was like 16, 17, 18, if we were at a friend's house, like you would just do something stupid.
Oh, all right. I can see
but
that.
Other
I've
than
never
that, no,
done it.
once it got like alcohol involved, I saw a lot of people start doing that. I think even family members of mine have had things drawn on them. And then after Garden State came out, everybody wanted to write balls on everybody's head.
Right.
Because that was clever. You got balls on your head. All right. Now, the next suggestion I was given by my friend Matando. Immigrant families. I think this is a two-part. We get to pick which one we want to talk about.
Okay.
The first one, immigrant families or farts versus queefs. Which one do you think is the better topic to talk about?
I think it's about immigrant gangs called the Farts versus the Queefs.
Oh.
It's a musical coming out.
Oh, it's like the Sharks versus
Is it kind of like a Stomp or a Blue Man Group where they use farts and queefs as
percussion
instruments?
Sure. Yep.
I'd see that.
Yeah.
I would watch that for sure.
I'd watch that too. So, I think we've answered that question.
Okay, so cool. That's what
I'd watch that.
Both of them together on stage
Good
on
topic.
Broadway.
Somebody make that, please.
Make that happen. Now, the next one, this is the first of two mentionings of the dude coming up. The first one is from Frank Belfiore. He says to
like
talk
the
about...
Hey Dude show?
No,
hey,
the dude, as in Big Lebowski.
Big Lebowski. Okay.
Mr. This
There's
is a
drink
beverage.
here, man.
Yeah, I've got a beverage. He said, talk about this dudism. Funny thing is the other day Frank asked me to be the minister of sorts for his wedding whenever that winds up happening, but I have to be in full costume as the dude,
which is cool,
which is great. He's gonna pay for me.
Are you drinking White Russians?
I'm gonna drink White Russians the whole time. He said at all times there will be a beverage available for me. I will stay.
You know
in
what you also
the
have to have
entire.
You know what? I'm throwing this out to them. They have to write their vows on another piece of paper, and you have to scribble it.
Yeah.
So that they can actually read it.
Okay, we could do that.
Yeah.
We can do that.
That's my.
I also want to get like a team of like German nihilists to follow me around. It'd be a good time.
Well, after you do
from your
after you do his wedding, can you do my funeral?
I'll do funerals as the dude. Are you gonna wait till after he gets married to die though?
Yeah,
I need to practice first. That's all I'm saying.
Cool.
So dudism, it's an actual religion.
Did you ever watch the documentary on, or maybe it was just like there was the whole festival?
The festival in a bowling alley somewhere. I do remember
it's like a
that.
Big fest.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy how it took off. And
it started off as just a couple, 100 people or so, and now it's thousands of people that show up all in costume.
Yep.
And it's basically Comic-Con just for the Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
I love it. I can't wait. And actually, this morning, speaking of the dude and beverages, I went to the beer cafe on Crystal Street for breakfast, brunch, because it's got alcohol and breakfast foods, and not a lot of places around here do that. And they had a White Russian that instead of using milk or half and half, they used iced chai tea.
Okay.
And it was one of the best White Russians I've ever had.
Iced chai tea.
Chai tea, and then they straightened all the ice out and gave it to you like in a latte
and
glass.
It looks exactly
chilled.
the same.
It looks pretty much exactly the same. It's just got that chai spice to it.
That's cool.
It's good. I mean,
a White Russian is good, but I think I prefer a Black Canadian.
A Black Canadian? What's that?
Canadian whiskey and chocolate milk.
Oh,
I don't know if I've ever had that.
I've never even thought of doing that.
Yeah, some
no
Canadian
Baileys or
Club.
anything?
Yeah.
Some chocolate milk.
I don't know if I would do that. Maybe we'll do that at some point.
It's great.
Yeah. All right, now a little bit further down the line, we've got Richard Blackmore suggested neat cover band ideas.
Yeah.
His suggestion, again, this is the second one with the dude, dudist priest. Dress like the dude, sing like Rob Halford.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Okay, one of those is easy.
Yeah.
And the other one, I'm going to have to find me a bathrobe.
You're going to really need to find a bathrobe. And, oh, wait, you already got a goatee, so you're good. Actually, do you want to, we should just start a co-business where we're the dudes and we just show up in similar outfits and then just confuse the fuck out of everybody. We're like, walk in the middle, yo, man, like, what the hell? I thought, like, I was doing the fucking wedding here, man. And you're just like, oh, man, you can finish if you want, man. Whatever. That's cool, man. And we clink glasses, and then I walk out, and then you just take over and just finish the ceremony without anything being said.
Yeah.
The dudes.
That's great.
It'd be good.
But for cover band, I've had this idea for a while, and I'd love to do it. I think now we could do it. Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Oh.
Where you only cover songs that have been on the soundtrack of
I'm
a
in.
Tony Hawk.
I'm in
that'd be
because
cool.
Body Jar Not the Same is one of my favorite songs, and I don't know any other song by Body Jar. And that's the one that's like, you're not the same, you've changed, I don't need you. Great song, phenomenal
There's
song.
so many good
and
songs.
Superman obviously was like the big one off. What is number 2,
But
I believe.
just like, and then all the rap songs that were on there.
It always had
And
great
then
music.
Iron Maiden.
That would be
and
a good party
AC/DC.
band. That would be a great party band.
For people our age who grew up playing that.
You could get a gig playing at like an outside. There's that outside skate park that I played last year with the Aim Fire, something like that. People would love that. I'm sure they just play that soundtrack half the time anyway for old heads that used to play.
So.
You don't think? That,
I think the skater kids are cool these days.
I'm saying the old
this
heads.
would be for
rap
old
now,
people,
dude.
Yeah,
skaters are
old heads
rap.
on skateboards, or people that hung out with the old heads with skateboards that are now just old heads. The second suggestion for the neat cover band idea. Ethan Jurley said that Judas Priest could go on tour with his Led Zeppelin black metal tribute band Lord Zorpelin.
Lord Zorpelin.
Lord Zorpelin.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, jeez. Oh, gosh. And then I thought it'd be great to make an all-male tribute band to the Bengals called the Mangles.
Yeah.
The Mangles. I
like an Egyptian dude.
Yeah. Yeah. It'd be amazing.
I used to love that song growing up, dude.
The Bengals are good, man.
And then Ethan said we'll start each set with a cover of Man, Ick Monday. And then Keith's suggestion, which I'll just give him the award of best suggestion because it's his birthday. But I like it. It would be Nikola Lightning Bolt Edison, an AC/DC tribute band.
Yes.
All right.
A science-based AC/DC tribute band, Nikola Lightning Bolt Edison. Spelt out Lightning Bolt. Everything all spelt out. No abbreviations.
You would have to.
Oh, it'd be good.
You'd have to.
It would be good.
Is that like it was like Bill Nye the Science Guy, but AC/DC?
Yeah, pretty much.
You learn things.
You learn things.
Pretty much,
okay.
Yeah. You won't be on a highway to health class.
I'm on the highway to health.
Yeah. Just cover it and just go.
Health.
Not even cover it. Don't even cover it. Just put a and just release that song. Milford said how dangerous and dangerously fun the hot corner at Floods can be.
Yeah.
Oh,
Is that the
God.
cubby?
He was there the
I
other
think
day.
he's talking the front corner.
Yeah, the cubby.
The cubby.
Yeah.
Because he was there the other day when there was at least 12
Sunday?
of the most 2
yeah.
Sundays ago.
Okay.
The really rough day for me and Pat. Just the most degenerate people ever there. And every Sunday morning,
That weekend was like
you
a
could go to
blur.
Flood, sit in the cubby any Sunday morning, and have a fucking amazing time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just watch out Monday morning.
Monday morning's not good.
If
And
you gotta-
Sunday at
if
like
you-
7:30
That's
at
great
night
for
if
me.
you get there
I'm
at
off
11.
Mondays and Tuesdays. Maybe I'll do that.
Yeah,
Monday.
I don't
It's a great
ever have
time.
off Sundays. I always work Sunday night. I did Sunday Fun Day once for like an hour and a half and then went home to nap before I had to go to work because an hour and a half at Sunday Fun Day, you're already a little tipsy.
Sure.
Yeah. And then Flat Earth came up. I think we've talked about Flat
Yeah,
Earth
talk
before.
about Flat Earth.
Yeah,
I
Flat
think,
Earth is for dumb people.
yeah, we are obviously on the back of a giant tortoise
Monday
shuttling
hurts
through space. We've already, I mean, if we're not on the back of a giant tortoise shuttling through space, then we are not currently sitting in a houseboat named Tommy
You're
Lee
right.
Jones.
I also that's what I liked about the Orville. Did you see the episode where they fly into a ship that is a planet?
Yes.
Which was really cool. Nobody
Yeah.
knew that they were just floating on a ship in
Yep.
outer space.
Yeah, and it was like the whole progression of like their evolution happens in like the matter of minutes to us and like hours to us. I don't know if that show's coming back. I really hope it is.
I hope so too. I liked it a lot.
It was a good, entertaining approach, and it was way better than every other cartoon since American Dad that he's come up
You're
with.
right. You're right.
It was,
And it's not a cartoon.
and it's not a cartoon.
No, it's live action.
and it's as well written as some bad Star Trek episodes are, and it's funny, and they just reference a lot of current pop culture, which seems weird.
They said it stopped at
But
that point.
that's what they say. We got first introduced to the intergalactic worlds around this time in our history, so they still just reference everything from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s.
Because you
that was the
figure
last
if that's
our
when
culture.
a massive amount of
Yeah.
like if we just went up into space now, there's a massive amount of people that would just be. This is like whatever's new.
Yep.
You would receive transmissions to a certain point, and then you would have no idea what the fuck.
Yeah,
is
you
going
would just
on
be
in
like,
Earth.
nope, still
That's it.
really big into that new 30 Seconds to Mars album. I think it's the greatest. And then you would take that to Mars. That'd be the most
Would you?
literal thing ever. I don't
But
know.
would
I
it take
wouldn't.
you 30 seconds?
What
to get
music
to
would you
Mars,
bring
though?
to Mars?
Probably some EDM and just leave it.
Yeah.
Leave it.
Would you just leave? Would you bring all of the EDM to Mars, drop it there, bury it, and then never go back?
Not bury it, but that's like...
Leave it for the Martians to find?
Yeah, and anybody that wants to go visit,
and
like,
some
we're
Molly.
going... Yeah. Imagine
Mars
that,
was
dude.
only a party planet.
Yeah.
Like, but
Yeah,
as
that's
soon
what I'm
as you got
thinking,
to
dude.
Mars, it was just EDM DJs. People are feeding you fucking drugs and
It's like
shit.
going
You're
to
like,
the Netherlands.
like,
dude.
what'd you do this week?
Mars, Netherlands, all kind of the same thing, I think.
Yeah. Actually, I've never been to the Netherlands.
I've
so I
never
don't know
been
if
to
that's a
Mars or
true
the
statement.
Netherlands.
Can
Yeah.
somebody confirm that or deny it, please?
Is Mars similar to the Netherlands? Anybody that's been to both, please let us know.
Yeah, please.
And then the next one we have Rank the Hank. What are the 5 best Tom Hanks movies?
Oh, God.
5 best. So off the top of your head, what are your favorite Tom Hanks movies?
Burbs.
Burbs.
Big.
Herbs.
I
man.
want to say Forrest Gump, but I just like it because it's a solid movie, not necessarily because Tom Hanks. Or,
Yeah.
But it's still a Tom Hanks movie.
Yeah.
It is,
put
but
it on
I'm
the list. It's
I'm
such
I'm
a
not
great
putting it on my
film.
list. dude.
Well, from the list that we got, my brother-in-law said all of the Toy Stories. He puts at number 1. Then Saving Private Ryan, Forrest Gump, Green Mile, Apollo 13.
Saving Private Ryan was a great movie.
Those are
dude.
amazing movies.
Apollo
But
13,
they're not my favorite. They're really, really good
What was
movies that he's in.
what was the one where he was in the airport? Because I really like that.
Terminal.
Terminal.
Now
I
that
love
comes
that
down
movie,
here.
dude.
Richard put in the Terminal. He put Forrest Gump, Castaway, the Terminal, Big, and then Captain
You know
Phillips.
what's a stupidly underrated Tom Hanks movie?
Are you gonna say Turner and Hooch?
No,
That's a great
I
movie,
love
though.
Turner and Hooch.
Keith
the,
put it on his list, and I almost did.
the Lady Killers.
The Lady
Lady
Killers.
Killers is-
Yeah, that's
the
Coen Brothers.
movie where he's like the Southern gentleman.
Yeah, he's the Colonel.
Yeah.
That's a great
Yeah.
fucking film.
Well, and
Now,
Marlon Wayans, I think's in it. They're
Yeah,
digging up
this-
the basement of some old
Oh, no,
lady's house
the
to
Asian
rob.
guy, I forget his name. He's smoking the cigarette and
Yeah.
he flips it like inside his mouth. She's like,
Yep.
"You smoking in here?" He's like,
Now,
That's
did
a
you
good
put any of
movie.
his love story movies? Are they on
No,
your list?
because I would say if I did, it would have to be between. I mean, Sleepless in Seattle is his like probably most famous, but You've Got Mail is my favorite of his romantic comedies. Is another him and Meg Ryan, but it's got Steve Zahn in it again. Actually, 2 of my movies on here on my list have Steve Zahn in them. Keith's list,
Actually, my favorite thing he's ever done,
yeah,
and he is not in them at all, at least that I don't know, was The Pacific and Band of Brothers.
he produced those.
He produced them with
Yeah.
Spielberg, and that is my absolute favorite thing
that
to
he's
watch.
ever any project he's ever been a part of.
Yeah, because you know the way that they filmed it, especially the first one, like they shot it like you get the attachment to these
Yeah.
people and actually go through the shit that happened
Yeah.
to them. So yeah, I think that's.
Well, I remember James telling me that Band of Brothers, the casting for that was absurd when you look
it's
at
great,
the photos
dude.
of the
It's
original
fucking-
people
oh, yeah,
to
yeah.
who they got.
Well,
They
they
had,
actually
like David Schwimmer, like Barry Peppers in it, like a bunch of random people.
Yeah, the dude. What's the
Giovanni
main
Ribisi?
character?
Is
Yeah,
he? Yeah.
he's in it. What's the main dude from Dreamcatcher?
Dreamcatcher,
The Stephen King movie?
Thomas Jane.
The redheaded dude.
It's Barry Pepper.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Barry Pepper.
Well, have you ever watched any episodes of Band of Brothers?
I think I've seen like 1 or 2.
Because in the beginning they
years
get
ago.
some like the guys that were still alive. They
Yeah.
show them before and have
Okay.
them talk about it, and then it goes
Probably. Yeah, I probably saw
in. And
that.
some of the likenesses are insane, dude.
Well, Keith's list, he said for number 1, That Thing You Do, which we'd already discussed. Toy Story, Castaway, Catch Me If You Can, and
Okay, yeah, that's a
Turner and
good one.
Hooch. Richards, again, Forrest Gump, Castaway, Terminal, Big, Captain Phillips. And then for me, I put That Thing You Do. It's one of my
Right.
favorite movies of all time. Catch Me If You Can. I think that's my favorite Leonardo DiCaprio movie ever. It's
Right.
Christopher Walken's performance in it is phenomenal.
It's a good movie.
It is so fun. You can just put it on. Then I put Big and The Burbs. And then
Yeah.
number 5, which I just kind of sneak it in there as kind of an asshole-ish, like, I like weird movies. The Man with One Red Shoe, which is...
I've never.
That's
seen
a
it.
weird one. I've seen
I've
parts
actually
of
never
it.
seen
Man
it.
with One Red Shoe is Tom Hanks, Carrie Fisher, and Jim Belushi
Okay.
in the mid-90s. And it's about Tom Hanks, and Daryl Hannah's in it, and Dabney Coleman's in it. And Daryl Hannah and Dabney Coleman are working for a secret organization that might have ties to like the FBI or the CIA, and they're basically just trying to find anybody to blame for this crime and to set up and frame. And they just send a team of dudes to the airport to pick anybody out. And Tom Hanks, for whatever reason, wears one red shoe. It makes them notice them, and they start following around. And then it's kind of a series of unfortunate circumstances that happen that it's just kind of like he's unaware of what's going on and all this like dumb shit happening in the background. It's hilarious, and also Carrie Fisher is like hot in a weird way in this movie. She got really short cut hair, like real 80s look.
Well, after Star Wars, she was always hot in a weird,
weird way
in
Carrie
movies.
Fisher in
Star Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars.
Yeah, she was in Star
Jay and
Wars.
Silent Bob Strike
Isn't she
Back.
in the Burbs too, though?
Yeah, she is in the Burbs.
She's in the Burbs. She's Tom Hanks' wife.
Yeah. So they've got a couple movies then together. And then The Terminal got brought up. Richard was like, "Am I the only one that likes The Terminal?"
Yes, you are.
And
Richard.
called for Dave Filstra's help, and Dave Filstra put up Forrest Gump, Castaway, Apollo 13, Green Mile, Terminal, and he said Toy Story would be number 6.
Okay.
And then someone who doesn't know how to read, Mr. Frank Belfiore, said that he was the fact that Big wasn't mentioned in this conversation should be considered a crime. And then me and Richard were like, "Yo, like what the fuck, man?
What the fuck, man?
What the fuck?"
Yeah, what?
Richard's next suggestion for a topic to discuss were 12 moons discovered orbiting Jupiter a few hours ago.
It's pretty crazy.
12 moons, but one of them is less than a kilometer in diameter. So what really constitutes a
moon?
moon? And I said people or cats living inside of it. That's what a moon is. There are definitely cats or people living inside the moon, controlling everything. In my opinion,
probably
controlling our flat Earth.
Yeah,
they're cats and humans.
I mean, it's just the giant spaceship. That's
That's all it is. It's why it rings like a bell when you bounce something off of it.
You're right.
It's hollow.
Yeah.
And then Richard wanted to know if one were to die in space and wind up in orbit, would they be a moon by definition? If you get caught in orbit, if you get caught in orbit, how big do you have to be? This one moon's only a kilometer in diameter. I'm not that much smaller than a kilometer in spatial reason.
How far do you think you can throw? Can we
how
take
far
like
do I think I can throw?
A bouncy ball and throw it up there and get in an orbit?
I don't know. Would a bouncy ball
That's space debris.
Is that just debris?
If you died in space and your body floated around, you were space debris.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
You're not a moon is a.
I mean, you're just kind of caught there.
Yeah, but a moon is not a. The moon's made of rocks. And stuff.
Yeah.
So are you technically?
So I don't know. I guess you as a human floating around would not be a moon. So there's that answer. Will wanted me to make sure that I mentioned the Guar show at the Sherman on November 6th or 8th, whatever the fuck it is. So
is that an exact
That's
quote?
exactly what he just said. And then he said you could also talk about Trump and Putin if you're feeling original. And I said, who are they? And he said Guar props.
Guar, yes.
They're gonna be good
when,
Guar
when
props.
I saw Guar, they killed Obama and Hillary.
By fucking Hillary within like ripping her apart and everything.
Oh yeah, ripped her tits off and ripped Obama in half. And... Good time.
Yeah, all right.
If you like politics, don't go to a Guar show. If you're sick of the bullshit,
go to a Guar show.
Go to a Guar show. Come to the Guar
apart.
show. Yeah. Go to the Guar show and just ask every person, "Are you Will P? Are you Will P?
Are you Will P?" And if
when you meet him, you're gonna have a great time.
I wonder how many people will pee on you if you're asking a lot of people that.
Will you pee on me?
Are you Will P?
Are you Will
and they
P?
just think you're dyslexic as fuck and
Yeah,
can't pronounce the
you.
word dyslexic, and then they pee on you. I think it'd be. I mean, at a Guar show, it's probably bound to happen. And that's just a different stain on your shirt to bring home and frame up for later.
Sure.
All right.
Ketchup and mustard.
Ketchup
baby.
and mustard. Is that all they shoot at you? What is it?
I don't know. It's
who the fuck knows, dude?
It's
soda, probably
fake blood.
mixed
Fake
weird
blood.
Fucking...
Some sort of.
So a lot of corn syrup.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
Because I guess it has to be edible and nothing that would be allergenic
sticky,
or nothing too sticky because they got to clean the venue at the end of every day. So corn syrup probably wouldn't be that good for that. That gets a little sticky.
It's probably like
primarily because of the syrup part of it.
A dye-in cornstarch base slurry type shit.
Maybe.
I don't know.
All right, well, we're going to jump to our second break, and then we're going to come back. Again, we're going to be playing a song that is brought to us by Mr. Sean Araujo, and this is the more punk-sounded one that he submitted. So we're going to let this play, and we'll come back and finish up the show. Stay tuned. We'll see you shortly. Bye. Peace.
Whoop.
Questions die upon our lips. These moments are history's cancer, a memory carved in the side of our sinking ship. If it's a problem of truth, well, what is truth anyway? Anything they can say to absolve them of all of the guilt and the greed and the lies and the hate. corrupted, the fruit all rotting on the ground, any semblance of sense interrupted, synaptic impulses firing without a sound. Untenable average grows more mercurial by the day. These teeth grown feral and savage that tear at the seams of the world that you wish to create. Blasted out of frame, the signal is the noise. We contaminate life. I can barely breathe. Your name is in my mind. We annihilate the sun that burns the burning light.
And we are back again. Music from Mr. Shana Raujo there.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, Blue Tape. The episode title today is Blue Tape.
Yeah, still again, guys. Thank you very much for helping me find some fucking blue tape.
Justin earlier came up to us and goes, "Hey, Zach, have you seen the blue tape?
Just trying to tape up some fucking symbols.
He's just trying to tape some symbols up, and then Zach starts going, blue tape, and singing.
Blue tape.
Literally for about a half hour.
About a half an hour. We were just down here doing a duet about blue tape. We did a Blue Moon version. Blue tape, blue tape, blue tape, blue tape, blue tape. So that's the episode tonight. If you're wondering what blue tape is, it's
or if you have any blue tape, send it over.
Yeah, can I get some fucking blue tape?
Well, that's
please,
what this is.
somebody
it's an
help me the
advertisement
fuck
for blue
out.
tape to help us with some symbols. Otherwise, they're cracked and
no, it's not cracked.
It's not cracked.
Trying
to silence them.
Yeah, I was trying to reduce them to the ring.
Are you
and I didn't want anything that's
tape?
yeah, dude. Some blue painter's tape that was
I
upstairs
got the
in the
tape in my
fucking
pocket.
I was asking
what you're
because it was
looking for?
upstairs. I found some green painter's tape, but some good.
Is
frog tape?
Is it still painter's tape if it's green?
Tape.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Frog tape.
Scotch tape is still
Frog
painter's tape.
tape.
Hey.
Is that what they call green painter's tape? Frog tape?
It's a brand.
That's the brand.
Oh, is that like in
The
competition?
blue tape
with
is
duct
Scotch,
tape?
man.
Uh-huh.
No,
Do they have frog and
they
duct
do.
tape?
They do.
Frog
Yeah.
and duck?
Frog tape makes
Makes
duct tape
their
style.
duct tape.
Yes.
Frog and duck
Yeah.
sausage.
For
Ooh.
hanging.
Would you have frog and duck sauce?
I'm
what
not a
frog
big
sauce
fan.
would be
I'm
like.
not a big fan of frog legs.
No?
No.
Yeah, I've
They're
only.
okay,
I
but-
think I've only tried it once. Actually, I'm not even sure
The
if I
kind of
have.
frog sauce I want is
Yeah.
you grab that frog and you lick it and then you trip out for
Hours,
7 to 9
days,
years.
whatever
7
it is.
to 9 years.
7 to 9 years? That's it?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess
Yeah,
it's
dude.
worth it. But,
Yeah.
you know, I was going for more like 12, 13 years.
Damn.
Yeah. All right, we'll give it a try. So, licking frogs. Next week, there won't be an episode. We're just going to do it.
We're just going to lick frogs? And
Yeah.
And we'll see you in 2 weeks.
We'll see you in 2 weeks.
see
All
you in
right.
7 to 12 years.
Yeah, that's what it is. 7 to 12 to 13 to 14 years. 7 to
Okay.
12 or 13 to 14 years.
All
One
right.
of the
Well,
two.
yeah. So when we get another one
Yeah.
together.
But
after-
between the end of, like, once it gets to 12 years and then that whole year between 13 start, we can't. We can't come
I
back.
might not
then.
even be alive by then, man.
No. Well, I mean, if we
Goddamn,
looking
I'm
at
so old
frogs.
already.
Yeah, well, you might not be alive at that point.
It's been a good run, fellas.
You're
It's
73
been a
years
good
old
run.
right now,
You're
so
right.
it's a little hard to see how you are even walking around
Yeah.
or
Doing
holding
anything,
a conversation. That's so old.
The reason I can hold a conversation because you guys aren't actually here.
We're not here?
No.
How
This
often
is
do
all
you
in my
think that
head.
every day? How often in a week do you have a thought of, I wonder if I made all of this up and I'm just like
Plenty of
still
times, dude.
stuck
Especially
in
in a situation that doesn't even make sense at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like you see something and you're like, how was that even possible
Yeah.
that actually just happened?
Yeah.
Or, you know,
I
Plenty
get
of
that
times, dude.
a lot, and then I've, because I'll tell my deepest, darkest fears sometimes to my girlfriend, and she then is a wonderful, loving person and uses them against me
Yeah.
and says things.
With the
She says
cheeses.
things like, well, all this is just in your head and you made me up anyway, and then walks out of the room. And I'm like, why did I do that? No, don't tell me that. Now I'm thinking maybe I did that and I'm just stuck in a loop. I need to get back. I'm going to wake up.
Does that mean you're fucking yourself?
I think that's what that means. And I'm raising an imaginary child with a lady. That's also imaginary.
That's also you.
That's also me. I'm helping. Wow, this is just a lot of psychological stuff.
Yeah,
I
you
need to
got
look
some
through.
fucked up things you need to figure out.
I gotta figure it out.
Maybe not. Maybe I'm the fucked up one for saying that you have a lot
Maybe.
of fucked up things. I don't know.
Who knows? So another thing that Alyssa is kind of enlightened me on is Tumblr. I never really looked at Tumblr at all.
It's for the ladies.
That's what I kind of get, but then the things that are said on there don't always seem like it's like the interactions are happening by all ladies. Sometimes it seems like a little too aggressive or a little too crazy.
Wait, say this.
Tumblr.
Tumblr. The image.
He's saying.
Wait, is that the image?
No, it's like chats and stuff.
Like chats and blogs.
It's like Reddit to a degree on some level where people can respond.
Tumblr used to be a lot of pictures.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what. Yeah. So
Okay.
it started off
really
as being like
image
just.
heavy.
Well, now because most images are just images of people's words.
Sure.
Most memes are just like people's conversations and text messages, just like put up.
Right.
So there's an account on Facebook that goes by the dark side of Tumblr.
Okay.
And sometimes they post some really clever stuff. So this, and it's funny because before we started, you put on a video that had a bunch of random like Tumblr and other things happening. And this one came up. I forget exactly when it was posted, but this guy came up with this brilliant idea. It says, when and if I have a daughter and she gets to be that bitchy girl age and says, I wish you weren't my dad, I hate you, blah, 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 I'm going to have an extra set of all of the pictures in the house without me in them. And on one night, I'm going to swap out all of the pictures of me, and I'll make sure to never meet any of her friends or teachers or whatever, and tell my wife to act like I never existed in the first place, and disappear for 1 week. There'll be no proof of me existing. After 1 week, I'll come back, swap out all the pictures again, and act like nothing happened. That would be the best mindfuck ever for somebody.
But you need to get somebody to dress up like an angel.
Ooh, that no one else can see and get everybody to agree.
Yeah.
That'd be. Now, it reminded me of something that I had heard as a wonderful prank a few years ago. They have the age progression pictures that you can do when a child goes missing or a person's missing. They can progress them 10, 20, 30 years, however long. The idea is using that technology, you take, you have your baby when they're like, or your child when they're like 4 or 5 years old and starting to actually like, you can see what their features are and how they're going to look.
Sure.
And you bring a picture of your child at 4 or 5 years old to an age progression and you go, give me a picture of them in 15 years.
Okay.
You then take that picture home, you frame it, and you put it on your wall. And you don't say anything to anybody. And that child will grow up looking at this picture on the wall.
Right.
And one day, that child will slowly realize that that picture is of them. Unless it was a really shitty job.
Right.
And that's when you turn to them and they go, like, Dad, holy shit, is that a picture of me? Is that... And you look at them and you go, son, I've got something to tell you. I'm a time traveler.
And this was taken right before you died.
Yeah. Right before you died. I tried to save you.
I'll save you this time, I promise.
You could also do that and just be like, son, I have to sit you down. You're a clone. The real you died 20 years ago. And me and your mother just couldn't live without you. Here's a movie. It's called Godsend. Watch it. It's not that good. All right. The next one I came across was about babies and how babies get all quiet and calm when they see a mobile, right? Like they've got the mobile over their head. Right. Apparently, it's an evolutionary precedent that babies look up up to the sky when they're laying on their back. And if they see something circling above them, they think it's a bird trying to scoop them up. So they sit very, very still so the bird won't see them. So you're not soothing your child to sleep. You are terrifying the fuck out of them until they just lay there still for so long.
There's a whole movie and comic book series about it. It's called Batman.
Batman. That is true. Traumatize the fuck out of your kid and then die.
Pretty much.
Or die and traumatize the fuck out of your kid. I'm Batman. And then this next one, a person, hilarious name. Their name is Homosaurus Rex. They said it's actually, they're talking about the zombie apocalypse, and they say it's a good thing that the zombie apocalypse starts in Florida, which I didn't know that was a known thing that automatically happens.
Thing either, but it makes sense.
Maybe it's in Walking Dead. Maybe that's what they say or something.
Well,
who knows? But it's a good thing it starts in Florida, because then the zombies only have one way to go, and that's straight up into trigger-happy redneck territory.
You're right.
And I give it 2 weeks before monster trucks and mullets save us all. Do you think that's our best line of defense?
Yeah,
it's just a bunch of angry, bored country,
are you kidding me?
boys?
You give them a reason to shoot at things, run things over.
I can kill all of
fucking chainsaws and dude, come on, redneck ingenuity. Yeah.
Well, they say redneck ingenuity.
Ingenuity.
That's what they say down there, I think.
Ingenuity.
Ingenuity.
I mean, if it was a zombie apocalypse, I'd be like half excited to like
become a zombie,
to arm up and like go killing zombies.
Now, if you got bit by a zombie,
as long as it wasn't like Undead. Have you ever watched that movie?
No,
where there's zombie fish.
No.
It's actually a comedy.
Oh, okay.
You should watch it.
Of course I haven't, because I just said that.
Yeah. But it is a comedy, but there's zombie fish and shit that literally jump out of the water and attack people.
Oh, yeah. As long as it's not all the animals turning on you, too. Because the zombie bear is the last thing you really want to have happening around here.
Yeah.
That'd be terrible.
What is about a zombie dragon?
What about a zombie zebra?
Well, if it's a zombie dragon, you're super fucked. I'm sorry. I'm just...
Now, but is the zombie...
You were fucked anyway, because that meant there was a dragon.
Well, it meant there was a dragon, and now there's a zombie dragon. And does this zombie dragon still produce milk? Because we've established that dragons produce milk.
Yes.
Well,
they're a reptile that produces milk.
It's acid now.
It's acid now.
Yeah. Like
acidic.
LSD?
Is it spoiled milk?
It could be. It could be LSD.
Get you high.
Actual acid.
If you see a zombie dragon, try to suckle off its teeth.
That's what you're trying to do. That's what you're learning here first. And then the last one I found interesting was they're talking about phrases that people know that are only part of the phrase. Curiosity killed the cat isn't actually the full phrase. Have you ever heard the full phrase?
Probably.
Curiosity killed the cat, but satisfaction brought it back.
Oh.
Yeah.
So don't let anyone tell you not to be curious. Little baby, okay, go and be interested in the world. That's what the person wrote.
Okay.
Also, blood is thicker than water.
Right.
Famous phrase.
Sure. Yeah.
That phrase will generally mean family bonds are stronger than bonds you make with friends.
Right.
But the real phrase is the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. Meaning the choices you make.
You should be within the brotherhood of whatever you're doing.
Yeah, the choices you make that lead you to being around the family that you choose to be with should be stronger than just the natural
actual bond that you have.
I have a better
family.
one than that.
Yeah.
Blood is thicker than water, but syrup is thicker than blood. So pancakes before family.
Yeah.
Sure.
Pancakes before new T-shirt idea. Pancakes then family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pancakes and family, both, in the words of Mitch Hedberg. All exciting at first, but by the end, you are sick of them. And then the other one you get is Jack of all trades, master of none, ends with but better than a master of one. Meaning it's better to be really kind of good at a bunch of things than amazingly awesome at one thing and terrible at the rest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it comes off as a negative connotation. And then great minds think alike ends with but fools rarely differ. Meaning that you're an idiot, you're just going to agree with somebody. With somebody.
We should start bringing back the full phrases, man. Like, why are we cutting off?
I don't know. There's a lot of really cool videos that talk about phrases and old-timey words and such that we don't
Well,
get
people
to
cut
anymore.
it off to use it for the situation that they're trying to...
It's like biblical things. You can cut a scripture from the Bible to suit your every need.
I mean, media
and then you
does
don't
it.
read the next one.
If you say something, they're going to cut whatever they want out.
If you
to
say,
make it sound like
I just want to say that I was at the park with my nephew today, and I had a really good time with all those kids. You're just going to get, I had a really good time with all those kids. And now that soundbite's out there for somebody to mix into a techno song.
Yeah.
I had a really good time with all those kids. I had a really good time with all those kids.
I'm not going to Mars again this weekend.
No,
dude.
you're not going to do that again? Oh.
Who are you kidding?
All right. So before we kind of wrap up this week's episode, I wanted to do a little a homage. A word I've always said as homage, but someone told me it's homage.
Homage?
So, whatever. I'm going to do an homage to our sister podcast. Let me ask you a question. Every week they pump out a new episode where Anthony asks a ridiculously weird, off-the-cuff, random
Is
question.
this to them or to us?
And I'm going to ask you this question, but it is kind of a throwback. Now, I remembered, I've actually never forgotten this question. It might be the first ever let me ask you a question style question that Anthony asked, but at least the first one I remember him asking in our lunch table or in the chorus room or something. And I don't think it's a hard question to answer, but when you're 15 and someone approaches you and asks you this, it's a little weird. The question was, if you could save your best friend's life, they were going to die right now, and you can save their life, but in exchange for saving their life, you have to get full-fisted in the asshole with no lube once a year for the rest of your life. And there's no guarantee that your friend survives past today. They could naturally die tomorrow in 5 years, and you could live 100 more years. Do you do it?
No.
You don't save your friend?
No, I'm sorry. That's just not.
You don't get to pick a hand. You don't know how big the hand is, how small the hand is. It might be a different hand every time. It could be just like one big wrestler-sized hand.
Yeah, you're pretty much fucked.
Sorry.
Every year.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So you wouldn't do it? No. Zach, what about you?
I've really been waiting for an excuse to get dry-fisted once a year by a random person.
Okay. So yes. But not because you love your friend.
No, just because I really want to get into that game.
Yeah. It's a
once
new
year,
game.
Dry fist.
Yeah.
Stranger's hands.
Yeah. Now you
Wait,
can.
Is it also
random
time?
No,
just once
you get
a year?
to pick. You get to pick.
You get to choose.
You get to choose.
It could be New Year's.
You could do
New Year's Day.
You could do New Year's Eve at 11:58, and then 4 minutes later, New Year's Day at 12:02. Get it out of the way real quick, and then have the rest of the year, and do that every so it spaces out as much as possible.
But I'm still not doing it.
Not doing that.
No.
You could save their life. They could go on to cure cancer,
or they could die. They could die the
life.
very next day.
They could get hit by a car.
Yeah. No.
No.
I don't think I could. No.
Okay, so
I guess I'm a shit friend.
I immediately thought my answer when I was asked this question, and it's been for the last 17 years in my head, and the answer always is fuck no, God no. I'm sorry, you're dying. That's why I generally do not have a best friend. But now you ask me that question, and technically my best friend would be Milady, so it's kind of hard because
it is a very tough question. It's a tough question.
Sorry, babe.
But the unknown. Keith would do it.
Keith would do it. All right, so now you say it's to save Keith. I might have to do it. But still, no. Sorry, not doing it. Not doing it. Oh my God, I can just imagine just what life would be done.
It would be awful, dude.
You can't get a whole fist in an ass that's not ready for it with no lube.
But you could set it up. You could prepare. You could lube up your ass the day before and go at it. But then when the fist is actually going in, it's a clean, dried butt, and then
it's not going in if your ass ain't.
It's gonna find a way.
Yeah, they would
tearing.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no.
So yes, still from Zach.
Yeah, I'd go for it.
You'd go for it.
Start wearing a butt plug all the time. I think this shit
I
is
mean,
easy.
Now I wonder.
I'd get into it. I'd love it.
Do you think you can run? Do you think you could be like, okay, I did this for 3 years already, motherfucker is a piece of shit now, we're not friends anymore, and go on the lam and just for the rest of your life?
No, because you're locked into a lifetime contract.
Who's finding you? Who's doing this?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, if you have to
I'm
figure,
assuming that this is God or an angel.
Yeah, you would have
to
figure out somebody that could change somebody from dying to being alive.
Someone that can tell you.
Well, if it's God that's doing it, then this question's bullshit because God isn't real.
Well, I'm saying it's another force. It's an outside force.
Something that can change the destiny of something else, in a sense.
It's a time traveler.
And there's no way you're going to run from that. You made a contract to... It's like if you made a deal with the devil...
Yeah, so we made...
You're not getting...
God's not real, but do you believe in the devil?
No.
No, okay. Well, that's consistent at
least. Just the concept of what the devil would be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying that I believe in God, devil, or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm a kind person. I'll take a fist to save a friend.
All right. Well, I guess you learned it
but
here,
guys.
But
not either of you, because
not either of us. We just told you.
You both said that you wouldn't.
Yeah.
So there, literally anyone but the two of you.
Do you think Pat takes it?
Pat's a fucking dog. He's loyal.
He'll take
He's
it.
a loyal, good person. He'll take that shit.
I like how you said dog and then loyal, good person. That could have gone a very negative way there.
That's a dog in the best fucking way you could ever want a dog.
He's a Labrador. Maybe you can do some cocaine off his back. And we've gone full circle.
Gary Busey.
Thanks,
Gary Busey. Gary and Jake teaching people how to do bumps off of the back of
with
dogs.
David Blaine. It's his new
David Blaine magic trick. I'm gonna make all this cocaine disappear off this dog's back.
Close your eyes.
Ah, it's gone.
Open up. There it's gone.
It's nowhere.
Oh my god, I have a really good idea for
Where'd this dog come from?
I'm gonna go do activities.
Where'd this fucking dog come from?
Oh, where's I don't like this dog. Kick the dog. Get the dog out of here. All right. Well, we're gonna wrap things up for this week's episode, and we will be back in. We're taking 2 weeks off, so it's really 3 weeks. We'll be back in 3 weeks. Enjoy the break. Take this time to listen back. It'll be the 7th of August.
Yep.
And basically what we're doing is we're breaking it down kind of 7 episodes at a time, taking 2 weeks off, 7 episodes, and we're going to do bulks of 21, and that'll be a season.
Yep.
And then we'll take like a month off or so. But we'll always try to be having content coming out to you guys, and the videos are always available as audio files on YouTube.
Keith, we'll take a fist for you, Zach.
Zach,
Thanks,
Keith. So you and Keith...
We'll just fist. We'll
Yeah, I was saying, can you just
other.
fist each other? They'd be like, "Thanks, bro."
We'll live for it. If me and Keith start fisting each other,
You live forever.
Will we live forever?
I think you do.
Are
thing
you
for-
asking Kyle? Do you have this kind of power?
I don't have this kind of power, but I was just thinking, Keith's a good person to make this agreement with because he's got tiny hands.
Ooh, I'm lucky.
You're lucky, Keith.
Keith, not
Sorry.
so lucky. Sorry, buddy.
Sorry, buddy. Your ass is grass. And you do work a lot with grass, so you know you're mowing it all the time. So you're gonna mow his grass ass.
Yeah.
Shred it, pulverize it.
Wow.
Whip it. Mix it around.
This episode is.
Do you think this is a good way to end it?
Yeah.
Straight to the shitter? You mean the asshole where you put your fist?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, as always, to our wonderful friends over at Moot.tv, Mr. EJ5000, the guys that let me ask you a question. Tune into their show every week. It goes out on Monday on iTunes. You got Anthony, Gregoman, and EJ5000 there. They also have White Wasabi with Sensei Micah and the gentleman who supplied our music this week, Mr. Sean Araujo.
Thank you.
Thank you again. And everybody else that has music, send it to us. We will play it.
Yes.
Doesn't matter the genre, as you heard today. It can be 2 genres in one song. It can be fucking death metal. It can be soft stuff. It could literally be you singing a cappella.
Animation or video that you've made or whatever.
Send them in. We want you to help us help you in that sense. Tom Cruise,
hey,
once
Keith,
again.
You should start taking some video of just like road shots and put them together and send it to us.
Yeah, send it to us. We'll make music videos out of them.
Yeah, dude.
All right. Well, thank you again to Mr. Justin Olampado for putting everything together here.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Mr. Zachary Sturman.
Mr. Zachary would take a fist for my bros, but not Justin or Kyle Storman.
That's his new nickname there.
Yeah.
New nickname.
Sorry,
and as always, I am Kyle Mocha for Kyle Mocha Won't Shut Up. A big happy birthday to my little brother
Happy
Keith.
birthday, Keith.
And
happy birthday,
we'll
fist
see you. We'll see you in a couple of months for that fisting.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Have a great week. Have a great next couple of weeks. We will see you in August. Bye-bye. Yeah.
Mood.tv.
There's nothing more egomaniacal than singing the theme music for your own show. Who am I? Kelsey Grammer. If I could only drink like him, we're gonna write a new one every week. Some will be solid, some will be weak. We're gonna write a new one every week. Some will be solid, some will be total experimental pieces of shit. We're not over yet. Now we are.